April 26, 1986. Number 4 reactor in the Chernobyl nuclear power plant explodes, marking the start of the worst nuclear accident in history. As firefighters and military personnel extinguish the fire and clear the radioactive debris, the inhabitants of the neighbouring city of Pripyat are forced to evacuate their homes. Residents are ordered to take only their documents and some food and water. They are told that they would be allowed to return in 3 days. 33 years later, and nobody has returned to the dead city within the Radioactive Exclusion Zone. Some of their belongings remain where they left them all those years ago. A few of the crumbling and derelict apartments contain pianos left behind by their owners. After years of neglect, abuse and exposure to the elements, these instruments are ruined and in a sad state of disrepair. It seemed like they would never make music again. But now, some of those last surviving pianos have been recorded and made available as a sample library. These ruined pianos have been gifted a second life and another chance to be played and enjoyed, even if they do sound terribly out of tune and broken. Hello and welcome to Piano Shack with me, Woody. So when I heard this story about the radioactive pianos, I was intrigued and had to find out more. So here is the chat I had yesterday with Vlad. He's the lead developer for this project. This video is sponsored by these lovely people and by myself. You might be interested in my piano inspiration series. Links in the description for more information. Okay, hi Vlad, and thank you ever so much for coming on my channel. Before we get into the details about the project itself and how you recorded the footage and how you recorded the pianos, would you like to just say a couple of words about yourself and perhaps even your full name? I'm calling you Vlad, but I've got a feeling that's a simplified name just for us dumb Westerners.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. My name is Volodymyr Savin. I'm from Ukraine. The short name is Vlad. And I'm a music composer and a sound designer. You probably know my work from the games like Metro Exodus, Savarium, and other games like maybe on your smartphone. It's called Cut the Rope with about little green monster. I made the music and sound effects for this game. And that's it for I'm just working. That's it. Okay, and you're based in Ukraine. Where is your sort of hometown in Ukraine? Right now I live in Kiev, the basic location, but right now I'm in the mountains, Carpathian Mountains. Just enjoying the forests and the air. Yeah, your cabin looks pretty beautiful from here. It looks lovely. Sort of. And I did a bit of research today, Vlad, actually, before calling you. I checked on the maps there. I saw Kiev is pretty close to Chernobyl. 94 kilometers. Yeah. And you've been visiting it a lot in the last 7 years. And would you like to say something about where you got the idea for this project for and why you're doing it, why you wanted to do this? So the main idea was... First of all, as a sound designer, I got the idea when I worked with the GSC Game World on Stalker 2. Before the company was closed and the game was cancelled. So the idea was for this game to record real world sounds from the Chernobyl, from Pripyat, from the Chernobyl outskirts. So it was just an idea, and then the company was closed, the game was cancelled, and our team created the new company. We started to make a new game. It's called Savarium, and I just think it's the same as post-apocalyptic game, and I just go to record stuff. Okay. And I go there. This was actually my first time. I go there. It was November 2012, and I just saw the city. I walk in there, enjoying the views and getting that atmosphere of the abandoned city. And at some point already, I knew that I want to do some kind of a project because one of my first projects for the KONTAKT library was Destroyed 6. I used the 6 pianos and just beat the hell out of them with the axe, crossbows, bows, and I just burned them to ashes. So at that point, I have some background to do that, and in November 2012 I saw the piano and touched for the first time, and I think that makes sense, because this is the part of the history. The city was just abandoned at some point, and in like right now, it's 33 years ago, someone played those pianos, enjoying them,
of course,
in their apartments, and right now they just see nobody, and just collecting the radioactive dust. And so I started doing that for 7 years. It took literally 25 visits, but I actually visited the zone for maybe more than 35 times, actually. So it was just, visits for the work on the pianos, and some visits was just to make some events in the city, or just visit the city, because at that point it's almost become my home. I really enjoyed how it looks, how you feel in there. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, I want to talk about the whole exclusion zone a bit later, because that's a topic that absolutely fascinates me. What your experiences are of visiting that area. But as I was checking YouTube today, I saw a lot of footage that was modelled in a game called Stalker. You're familiar with that? Have you been involved with the creation of that game?
Yeah, I was the developer of the game.
You were the developer?
First one. Yes, the Stalker 2. This is the next project. But the original Stalker, this was the 3 games, as I remember. It's called Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl. Then it was the Clear Sky, and the last one was called Pripyat. And I know these games really, really well. I know the developers because I worked with them. I worked with them on Stalker 2, and then I worked with them on the Survarium games. So the funniest thing about these games that the first 2 games actually it's a bit of fiction in terms of locations or how they look. The real stuff in there are only some buildings and the textures. And the third one, the Call of Pripyat, that game actually modeled the part of the Pripyat really, really well.
Yeah, it looked very familiar to me, watching the game footage. And I'm not a gamer myself, but I'm sure many of the viewers watching are familiar with that game. It looked like a pretty big title, so congratulations on that. I'm just, so I'm confused really. How do you get access to this area? You need a permit to go inside the exclusion zone, and then are you free to roam around exactly how you like, or do you have to stay with a guide, or are you allowed to go wherever you want if you have a guide with you? How does it work?
So the exclusion zone, Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, is closed area for 2 reasons. First, it's a contaminated area with the radiation, and second reason, we have the border with Belarus. So actually the contaminated area, 30 kilometers radius of this zone, it's actually going to Belarus as well. So basically, if you will have no border in this place, you will have direct access to the other country. And so in this area, in the border of the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, have the customs, basically. So you, first of all, before 2 weeks of the visit, you will make the appointment, you pay the money, you will the special guide will assign to you, and you choose, you will be provided with vehicle to drive there, or you can just took your vehicle, go the guide inside and go inside the zone. You have 2 block posts. First one is in 30 kilometers, the second one in the 10 kilometers zone. And basically, that's it. You need the passport. You need to be clean in any way. I mean, from the law perspective. It's called like that. And you just visit the city. This visit actually have the special program that means you can visit some places. You first of all, you allow to visit that places that on a paper. If this place is not on a paper, you cannot visit there. And then inside the city, or or any area there, you have special path to go, the most safe path in terms of radiation contamination area.
Yeah.
So you can step here, you cannot go there because there's a red zone. You have a lot of signs with the radiation signs, the how they call, forbidden.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when you want to do something unusual, like record some pianos,
right? Yeah,
you have to explore the city, and you have to go off the safe paths in any way. So I got a few guides. I was with different people, and I tried to talk to them just to allow me to do that, and they were really nice and kind. I did it. At some point, the city was closed to visit inside the buildings. So right now, from the 2013, I think, or 14, there's this like a special forbidden notice about you cannot go in any buildings at all.
It's because they're in such bad condition they could collapse, I suppose.
Yes,
in danger.
Yes, and other thing, the guide, if you will be catched in going inside the buildings, the guide that is assigned to you will lose his license.
Okay.
To do the further, visits to the city to guide somebody later on. So it was pretty hard, but until now, for 7 years, I was not catched at all. Okay,
so it was good that you did it when you had the chance, really, because it's probably not possible to do it anymore then. Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you locate them? How did you know where to look? Did the guides help you with that, or was it just a matter of exploring and opening each apartment door to see what was in there?
Yeah, so the basic way was the few pianos, 7 of them, I was new because of the guide. So because of the years they visited, just showing the path for the visitors, I knew the location of 7 pianos.
Okay.
5 of them was just, in a bad shape.
Yeah.
And I recorded them like strings, some keystrokes or pedal sounds. And 3 of them was okay. And but that was not enough. So I just needed to go and record and find the pianos by myself.
Yeah, you went hunting.
Importing how the process was. You just pick a house, a building, apartment building. Yep. And you go inside, and the floor, going up, and find the pianos and record them. In one day, I probably found 2 pianos, maybe 3, and but it will be like luck if I had to record just one of them. Because of the time, it took a lot of time to find. And the second thing, it's really a problem because some visits was in the winter, and winter days shorter, and it's cold, and you cannot lay over or sit anywhere because it's radiation everywhere. And you just have to sit, press a key like in different ways and softer,
different velocities,
and hard. Yeah, so I have to capture the original library that I have right now. It's like 50 gigabytes of sounds. Yeah, and I have to go down there to 11 gigabytes and to the final instrument. Okay. So it's 88 keys. Okay. They pretty clean.
And you were using like a field recorder, or you were putting microphones into the piano? What sort of distances were you recording the pianos at?
Yeah, so the distances was like quite different. You go inside, if this is inside an apartment, you cannot really record some distances at all. What I used at some point, I find out that in the city was the shop of the piano shop, and you can go and buy the piano or rent them. So you go inside, you see a lot of them, just 5, 8 or 10, I don't remember really, and I just picked some of them and I recorded the strings hits from different distances, that not that far, but enough to make the difference in recordings.
This was a music shop, did you say? A piano shop?
Yeah, a piano shop, music shop. It's
okay. In the
but
city,
mainly they record, they selling only the pianos, as I remember correctly. Yeah.
So I guess playing the piano must have been quite a popular pastime in these times, the Soviet times. And I'm imagining some of these pianos were probably very expensive and a really cherished possession.
Not that much. No? But I know that they all from the Ukrainian factory in Odessa city.
Okay.
The all pianos called Ukraine.
They're called Ukraine. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, piano names called Ukraine. You go in any apartment, you see the same piano name Ukraine, but they are different models. They look differently from outside. Some of them are black, some of them are, a brownish color.
Right.
Some of them taller or shorter.
Just upright pianos. You didn't stumble across a Steinway and Sons grand piano in any of the...
It was in music school, in Pripyat music school. There was two grand pianos, but they are just melted. One of them is just lying in the floor without the how to say it, the without
the legs. Yeah, okay.
Yes. And the other one that in the main concert hall, you will see actually in the library in one of the convolution presets. It is take the photo of this place with this grand piano. It's sort of staying there. It's looking okay, but the keystrokes are damaged completely.
Yeah.
So you can hit the strings with something, but it's not playable.
Okay.
And that grand piano is actually from the German. I don't remember the name, but I have the detailed photo of the plate with the name. So yeah.
But it looks to me, when I look at the pictures of the apartment buildings, for example, it looks like things have been destroyed and vandalized. It doesn't look like it was just how it was when the people left it. It looks like someone's gone in and destroyed things and just thrown everything on the floor, and the TVs are gone. Do you know what's happened over the years? Why does it look like it's so bad?
Keep in mind that after the citizen was evacuated from the city, in the third day, I think a third or more day, the electricity was turned off in the whole city. Yeah. A few places where still have the electricity. Okay. So at that point, the fridges are full of food. Was going and roast, rotten. It's bad thing. The old fridges was used a special mechanism that is actually closed like a door.
Okay.
So that fridges is at some point in time start to just increasing in size because the inside the food inside just got to melted and it's going the bad smell over the city.
Oh my God.
So the policeman actually opened the apartments and throw these fridges away from the windows.
So that's why there's no windows. The windows are all gone.
Yes,
it's open.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Also, it was the huge amount of effort made. First of all, they tried to clean up the city from the radiation. They tried to wash it at some point, but it didn't work at all. The special dosimetrists go inside each apartment and just check the basic furniture, some clothing, some TVs, some electronics. If it was in bad condition, it was contaminated, it was thrown away.
I'm guessing they just probably backed up some trucks next to the building and just threw everything out the window then.
Yeah,
into the trucks and then drove them away.
Yeah, it's footage of this in the internet as well.
But
how it was made. So.
Interesting. Lucky for us that they didn't throw away the pianos then. They left the pianos. And you mentioned something earlier that some of the pianos were missing strings. And is it Scavengers that had come in and removed the metal?
Scavengers was the problem in the city. At some point, there was a lot of people that go in there and then try to steal something because you don't see the radiation. You don't have the device to measure the amount. They see that this is look like new, they just took it.
Okay.
At some point, years ago, was Scavengers that just searching for the metal in the city.
Yep.
And then pianos, the bass strings that goes the lower keys.
Right, yeah.
They just simply the, I don't know the name of the metal, but you can just cut them and sell them as a metal.
I suppose
some of the pianos are cut. The string.
Oh, that's really sad. It's probably bronze or copper. I'm not sure what they're made of. But
yeah.
Just for a couple of dollars, I can imagine that's what the strings would cost. The metal. They've ruined the pianos.
Yeah.
That's a really sad thing. Let's get back to the pianos then. So, what were the challenges that you faced and the dangers? I mean, I can imagine these pianos were covered in radioactive dust after 33 years, and I hope you had some safety equipment like the face masks and stuff, but were you concerned for your own safety?
Oh, yeah, at some point it was masks, because the most danger thing in the exclusion zone is actually dust. Because over the 33 years, the main radiation levels fall almost 50%. So we have the half-life of the atoms are gone right now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And they, because of the years of the weather, of the rains, the radiation goes down into the ground. And but it's still as dust is like everywhere. We was in Pripyat at night few times, and when you turn on the flashlight, you like in a day you see nothing. It's like clean air, it's fresh, it's okay. But when you turn on the flashlight in the dark, you see a lot of dust just in and you're breathing in there. So the main problem in this city that you will breathe in some radioactive dust, some small particle that actually will not go out from your body. It will stay in there. It will burn you from inside. So you try to not get the dust up. So you just careful with that inside the apartments. You use your gloves to touch something because you can throw off. In the zone, actually, there's a rule. If you just dropped something, even a phone, you just better to leave it like that. It's a basic idea, the main idea. Of course, people not like thinking about it. They just get it off. But some of them even try to, take some stone or some stuff and take with them.
Yeah, like a souvenir.
Out. Yeah, it's a bad idea. Really, genuinely bad idea.
Oh. Do you want to mention something about the, what are they called? The reverb impulses that you captured. What was the idea behind those?
Yeah, the impulse responses. So when you decided to capture piano from the city that is actually abandoned, and its size, I think, 5 square kilometers, the city is whole.
Okay.
And when you making this instrument, the shortest way is to use, the prefabs of the someone's impulse responses from, anywhere. They just common stuff. But when you in a city, in a quiet city, where there's nowhere there, you can record your own impulse responses in that city or places that you're interested in, because they have like different apartments, acoustics inside. You have apartments, you have staircases, you have concert halls, you have schools, you have kindergartens, places. You have outside the area, for example, just record the echo of the main square of the city where the Hotel Policia is standing there, and or some exotic ones, because the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, at the point where explosion happened, they are actually building another reactors close by in the island, and the 5 power unit and a 6 power unit. The 5th power unit was almost finished. It's 80% of the finished, and the 6th one is all just the basic ground. So I took the special time to go to the inside of this reactor chamber of fifth power unit,
okay.
not unfinished. It's huge place. It's danger as hell because at some point you can just look where you stand your feet. It's holes in there inside. It's not finished.
Okay.
But the main chamber where the reactor should be, it's so echoey, so huge. Wow. You have really long tail, and I just recorded there.
Beautiful.
There was two ways to record. First, it was the sine wave method. Mm-hmm. You just place some speaker, you place the recorder, and you play the sine wave.
Sweeps up through the frequencies. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. The other one is more exotic. It's use the pyrotechniques, just small explosions to get the more rich echo inside the apartments, the outside area of the city, the squares like streets and etc. So and then I just at some point I combine them or use it as is for some apartments. But yeah, this is pretty unique impulse responses library. As far as I know, I'm the only one person who did that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that out myself. I hope the guards weren't too nervous when they heard your explosions going off in the nuclear reactor.
The interesting thing, actually, in the city for a few years now, at some point, there's military training there. Ukrainian forces have the trains inside.
Okay.
So the illegal visitors of the city that goes inside and live in apartments and go in there by just
This is interesting. This is like a subculture,
Yeah, I saw the video of the guys that was illegally in the zone in apartments, and they looking down on the street, and in the window you see Ukrainian forces that just making the war in the streets. They shooting, there's explosions, and they're so scared inside. Basically, first of all, they're from Russia.
Oh, they're from Russia. Okay.
Yeah, they thought that this is because of them.
Yep.
And you see that the windows are actually covered in steam. They wet because they're so scared.
Yeah. But these guys go there for the adventure. They illegally go into the zone.
Funny, they go and went for us. They searching us.
But they got a bit more adventure than they actually wanted, I think, in this case. But that's really interesting. I was reading today. It's a subculture called Stalkers, where the guys creep into the zone and just stay there for a few days. Have you seen these guys? Have you met them?
Yeah. So at some point, yes. And this is contaminated area.
Right.
If you want to go there, you have to cross some rivers by your feet, because there's no way you just take off your clothes and go with your stuff above your head. So it's quite an event. YouTube is actually full of that stuff in the Russian segment of YouTube. So yeah.
Okay, I'll check
it's
some of
quite
that
creepy
out.
at some point because the city is full of wolves. Yeah, so it's like 200 species of the wolves inside the zone. They are quite deadly.
Yeah, well, the nature seems to have taken over. The trees are growing up through the concrete, and there's wild horses and wolves and elks and all sorts there. It's amazing.
In the summer, it looked like the jungles. Actually, you see over you see the forest, and behind that forest is actually a building.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of mosquitoes. And mosquitoes actually is huge. At some point, one of them is sitting on me. Yeah, for sure.
Possibly.
One of them is just sitting on me, and I tried to hit him, and he just and fly away.
It's like a Hulk, Incredible Hulk mosquito.
It's unbeatable.
Wow.
They're scary.
Okay. Should we talk a bit about the KONTAKT instrument that you've made then? I haven't tried it myself yet. I'm going to do that in a separate video, I think. But I wanted to get the backstory first, so I could really appreciate and enjoy the instrument. I think the story of this instrument is just as interesting as the instrument itself. So I really wanted to chat with you first before playing it. But you've mashed up all of these pianos into one piano, is that right? You've combined all of these instruments into one. Can you say something about that and this age slider that you have as well?
Yeah. So, because the pianos are in different shape, not all of them have all the strings that you can use actually. I have to find a lot of pianos because I want to create the instrument that's suitable not only as a sound design tool, like, you know, it's just out of tune pianos, you know, it's easy to do that. The main idea was to create instrument that actually usable, so you can use to create music with that as a composer or as a musician.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I use the strings that actually in tune of these 20 pianos to create one perfect piano.
Okay.
So you can just enjoy it as is.
So I can expect to hear lots of differences as I play up the keys. I'll be able to hear.
Not that much, because I took special time to record. I places the microphones in a special the same position as the other one. I noted this level of recordings and I recorded as the same as the other one, so it sounds pretty similar. You will not feel that this is the different pianos.
Okay.
It will sound like one piano.
Okay.
But I as well wanted to create the preserve of the real state of these pianos, how they sound right now. They just sounds horrible. It's the buzzing, ringing. You have different squeaking sounds when you press the key or the pedal sounds just up and down. It sounds insane. It sounds beautiful for the post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, for certain genres, this is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And I try to capture this as well. So you have the special slider that goes from 1986 till 2019.
Okay.
And you can switch the year you want.
Yeah.
The perfect one is in the middle. It's 2000s.
Okay.
Then you have the more out of tune sound with the tune sound, so it's more live sound, more like live like.
So
it's like breathing a bit.
1986 then, Vlad, that's the best sounding pianos or the strings
like,
that you could find. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but you will hear the noises and all kinds of stuff even in this year, because I tried to not just not use the digital tune to fix that. I try to capture that as close as possible because this is a history. I do in it because of the history, just because of the place. Because of the story, and this is not like any sense to create a perfect piano of this. Try to manipulate the samples. Of course, I cleaned them at some point because of the noises. You know, at some point you have an apartment that's water dripping from the ceiling.
I can imagine.
The sound is annoying. It's not helping you to just do something basically with the sound, and you have to clean it. And which I did.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we shouldn't forget, I suppose, that this was a catastrophe. I mean, hundreds, thousands of people lost their lives, and people were forcefully evacuated.
Thousands, at some point, in course of the years.
Yeah.
And course from year 2 or 3 after disaster. Some of them even dying at some point right now.
Yeah.
They have bad health because of this.
Yeah.
But you know, the owners of all their apartments are, it's heartbreaking. They you live there in these apartments, then you have to evacuate it, and from the 30 years you see the abandoned, you see your couch that destroyed, you see your pianos, you see your furniture that just destroyed, you see the things that fall off from the ceiling, and it's heartbreaking for them.
Sad.
Because
it is sad.
They know this place. This is their home, and it's quite emotional.
It is, and I'm sure as I'm playing, or anybody's playing these virtual pianos now, that'll be in the back of your mind, I think, as you're playing. That'll perhaps give you some emotion as you're playing them, I'm sure, which is a really nice thing, I think. Is there anything that you think I should have asked you, or any sort of closing comments you want to say?
Well, for me, at one point, when you decide to do some project about anything, and you enjoy doing it, because basically you're risking your own life because the city is collapsing. It's radioactive. At some point, if you're inside the building and it will collapse, nobody will actually searching you, because this area is forbidden to visit at all.
Yes.
So this is some stuff that you cannot just ignore. And also the main problem with radiation that it's accumulated in your body. It is not that thing that you just visit the city, you got some level, some dose, and it will decay at some point. No, it will stay in your body forever.
Yeah.
Because the gamma radiation is actually ionizing the things that it's interacting with. So I really damaged my own health for some at some point.
Yeah. So this must have been
at some level.
Yeah. So this was a real passion project for you to take all those risks to do this.
Yeah, I decided to do it, and I did it finally. It was set to be released in 2016, and I took more time to visit the city, record more pianos. In 2016 it was 13 recorded, so I have to record even 7 after that. To make it to sound much better. The UI, because I don't have the other guy to program the interface or just create an interface, I painted it myself. It was my photos, it was my
it looks
programming,
beautiful.
the code. Yeah, it's actually the one interesting thing about the UI. It's live, it's animated. When you see this huge picture, you see the flashes of light, small of the blinking lights. This is actually was scanned from the footage of the city after the explosion. The radiation was so high that it's actually was printed on the film.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It was exposed to film
like
that
the,
places. You see the light flashes dots. This is actual radiation, so I scanned them, captured them, clean it up, and place it inside the interface.
You've overlaid it over the
yes,
images.
it's live. It flashes all over the place.
Okay,
so,
that's cool.
Yeah. It's just you remember that this is actually
I'll think about that.
Area where it was recorded.
Okay, Vlad. And where can people go if they want to find out more? Where is the library available now for purchase? And where do you want people to go?
Library is open. It's on our website, strixinstruments.com. Pripyat pianos. You can try to Google it. I think it's gonna be online in Google.
Okay, I'll leave a link in the description, of course, as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Vlad, it's been lovely talking to you and really interesting. This project it fascinates me, and it's been a thrill to talk with you.
Thank you.
All right, let's keep in touch, and I'll chat with you again soon. All right, cheerio.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so that's the story of this instrument, and I really did want to hear the backstory first and the context before I played it myself, and I haven't even played it yet. I'm going to do that very soon, and I'll share that with you in a separate video. If you want to hear what it sounds like in the meantime, you can go over to their website. I'll leave a link in the description, and you can hear some of the demos over there. We have to remember, of course, that this was a tragic event. Many people lost their lives and got sick, and it must have been awfully traumatic for those poor people that had to evacuate their homes and leave all their belongings behind. But I like to think that the owners of those pianos would be kind of happy to know that their instruments were once again making music and being enjoyed. Stay tuned then for my follow-up video where I'll attempt to compose some post-apocalyptic music on these radioactive pianos. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, liking, subscribing. Cheerio. I just wanted to remind you about my piano inspiration series. These are 2 lessons every month with the aim of broadening your repertoire, improving your technique and music theory knowledge, and bringing new, inspiring and creative ideas to your playing. See the description or watch this video for details.